Health officials are calling on the public not to be complacent as the Delta COVID variant continues to speed up virus transmission. Lawmakers are pressing the health department to allocate funds for COVID-19 benefits of health workers under the 2022 national budget. Senators Bongo and Gatchalian both confirmed that they have offered to run alongside Davao City Mayor Sara in 2022. The government's COVID-19 task force is planning to hold multiple voting days next year to prevent superspreader events in the polls. And in sports, another Filipino Paralympian begs off from the Tokyo Games after testing positive for COVID-19. Focused and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. Senators want a whole departure order against the parties involved in the government's purchase of overpriced pandemic supplies. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez gives us a front seat to the story.
The Senate will issue a whole departure order against former Budget Undersecretary Lloyd Christopher Lau. That's according to Senator Richard Gordon, who said he called up Senate President Tito Soto at 2:30 in the morning to request this urgently, as they had been tipped off that Lau had secured a visa and was preparing to flee.
May whole departure order, at least may lookout order sa kanya in any of the airports kung lalabas siya. Dahil hindi siya pwede makalabas kanya dahil malaking bilyon ng mga bilyon ng papaliwanag niya.
Lau was the head of the Procurement Service of the Department of Budget or DBMPS last year, during which he signed off on the purchase of millions of face masks and shields that the Commission on Audit said were overpriced. Under his watch, face masks were bought for as much as 27 pesos per piece, while face shields cost 120 pesos per piece. Gordon said it's clear the face shield mandate was enforced so that someone could profit.
Pinapaaral po kung sino pang ibang bansa na gumagamit ng face shield. Halos wala eh. Ginawa nila na kailangan mag-face shield para kumita palalo at yun ang nakadagdag, ang laki ng patong. Talagang nadali talaga ang bansa.
More than 8 billion pesos in contracts were awarded to Pharmally Pharmaceutical, a newly set up company with ties to Michael Yang, President Duterte's former economic advisor. In a recent briefing, Senator Risa Hontiveros presented documents that showed that 3 people connected to Pharmally were wanted in Taiwan for embezzlement and other financial crimes. These Pharmally executives, she said, can no longer be reached at their addresses in the Philippines.
Baka bahagi lang ito ng isang mas malawak at mas matinding sa likod nito. Perhaps it's not just about PPEs, yung misteryosong face shields, the testing, and all the way to the vaccines. Nagtatanong na rin mga tao, ito bang maling paggamit ng pera natin ay nasa likod din ng supply problems natin sa vaccines.
Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez has also admitted that in the early days of the pandemic, they reached out to the Chinese embassy for help procuring the supplies. The PPEs had to be picked up from China using 2 C-130 planes and even a Philippine Navy ship. Hontiveros bemoaned the lost opportunity for local manufacturers.
At that time, yung mga Filipino PPE manufacturers, nag-retrofit na nga sila ng kanilang mga production line on the request of government, made to medical grade, pasok sa price cap ng DTI at DOH noon. Pero ang daing nila, hindi lang sa pinadaan sila sa butas ng karayom. Tapos, hindi sila na-awardan ng mga kontrata.
The Senate will continue its investigation next week and has summoned Lau once again, along with 2 other Davao executives, Undersecretary Anderson Law of the Presidential Management Staff and overall Deputy Ombudsman Warren Leong. I'm Pamela Vasquez and we are One News.
And over 34 million COVID-19 jabs have been administered across the Philippines. Some 20 million people have received at least 1 dose, while more than 14.1 million have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The government expects the arrival of more vaccines, including some 188,000 Pfizer jabs from the COVAX facility later at 10 p.m. The country has so far received over 5 million jabs from Pfizer, bringing our total vaccine count to above 52 million. The Health Department promises to realign budget for the benefits of healthcare workers in 2022. Marian Enriquez with the story.
The Health Department initially proposed a budget of 74 billion pesos for COVID-19 response in 2022, but the Budget Department reduced it to just over 19 billion pesos, affecting the allowances of healthcare workers. This was revealed by Health Secretary Francisco Duque III during the agency's budget hearing at the House of Representatives. Duque says that some 50 billion pesos was initially allocated for the benefits of healthcare workers, including their special risk allowance and life insurance.
Can you confirm that po? Walang SRA budget sa NEP 2022. Ang sinasabi ninyong dahilan ay dahil hindi po inapprove ng DBM.
Tama po kayo, next year, wala po.
Kimbo then asked Duque if there are least priority programs where they can realign the budget.
We're looking at the butika ng barangay, but that is not substantial. It's less than, I think about less than 300 or 400 million, but it will help. But there is a list that we will have to review.
The budget cut did not sit well with the Filipino Nurses United, saying it will lead to more demoralized personnel.
Nakaka-frustrate yan, kasi dapat ang focus ng pamahalaan ay ang kalusugan at ang welfare ng mga health workers. Dahil ang pandemya na to ay tuloy-tuloy.
For his part, Bayan Muna Representative Ferdinand Gaita says he will push for the appropriation of the items.
Dapat lang na at sa tamang panahon i-manifest po namin na maisama at may balik ang halaga nito para sa pakinabang ng ating health workers.
The lawmakers also sought for Duque's commitment not to transfer any funds to the procurement service of the DBM.
Look at what happened for that in 2020. A lot of questions on the procurement by PS-DBM. Can we get that commitment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Last year po kasi walang-wala talaga tayo Zero.
Secretary.
To the hundreds.
In the same hearing, Duque said that the country might be able to achieve herd immunity against COVID-19 by February next year at the earliest. But former Health Chief and Iloilo Representative Janet Garin said now is not the right time to talk about this.
If we have a lot of breakthrough infections, just as what we are seeing now, it probably means, it simply means there's a waning infection and a need for a third dose. Herd immunity means hindi ka na makakapanghawa at karamihan ng bakunado ay hindi mahahawa.
Duque said the point raised was valid, acknowledging the need to be more transparent to the public. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
We're going to pause for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Health Department is urging the public not to let their guards down as COVID-19 continues to spread even at the household level. Greg Gregorio with the details.
Kyla and her family have tested positive for COVID-19 recently. They suspect that they got the virus from her husband Gerald, who was exposed to a probable COVID-positive employee at their milk tea shop.
Nakwento niya po sa amin na yung mga kasama niya daw po sa bahay nilalagnat na po. Tapos po pumasok pa rin po siya. Tapos kinaumagahan na papasok po siya, nagpaalam na po siya ang absent siya dahil masama na nga din daw po yung pakiramdam niya. Tapos after mga 2 days, nilagnat na din po yung husband ko.
After that, Kyla, her sister Jeremy, and the rest of their family had fever. This prompted the whole family to undergo RT-PCR testing, where they turned out COVID positive. Unfortunately, their parents were moderate and critical cases. They had also spread the virus to 4 other family members who lived in a separate house.
May day po kasi na, nung sinasabi po nila na June 17, yung araw na yun po, bumisita po sila dito. So lahat din po sila dun sa bahay nila nagkaroon. Siya, yung husband niya, yung lola po namin, yung house help po nila, yun, nagkaroon po sila lahat.
Luckily, all of them survived. Even though they got vaccinated after recovering, they are now extra cautious.
Kung dati takot kami, ngayon kasi mas parang mas lumala po yung takot po namin. Kagaya nung kung saan nag-start yung virus, yun ang iniisip namin na pinag-start, yung sa milk tea, yung sa milk tea shop po. Hanggang ngayon po, hindi pa rin po namin siya binubuksan ulit.
This is an example of how one person can infect 9 other individuals. The Health Department earlier warned that COVID-19 transmission is faster now due to the presence of the Delta variant.
Kaya pag tinignan natin ngayon ang pagtaas ng kaso, napakabilis because exponential ang kanyang increase. Kasi kung halimbawa, meron ka lang sabihin mo na 5 positive patients doon sa inyong lugar, kapag nakapanghawa siya, you will multiply that already by 5 or 8, no?
The DOH has also recommended that families wear masks even at home. LGUs have also been urged to implement granular lockdowns in areas where cases are up. Despite the reproduction rate in NCR decreasing, the Octa Research Group reminds the public not to be complacent as trends may be reversed. The group is even proposing to extend the MECQ period for 2 more weeks.
We need to focus the next 2 weeks on expanding hospital capacity. And when I say expanding hospital capacity, it's not just beds and ventilators, it's really hospital, healthcare workers.
The Philippine Genome Center also said that all regions in the Philippines have detected Delta variant cases, with the BARM recently reporting 2 Delta cases.
Yeah, so we have for the Bangsamoro, they were collected July 24 with the onset date of July 17 for 1 case. And then there's another one from Lanao also.
So far, the Philippines has recorded over 1,700 Delta variant cases. This may go higher if COVID-19 transmission continues in households and communities or in public places where minimum health standards are hardly observed. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
Senators Bongo and Gatchalian have individually confirmed that they have reached out to Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte to run as her vice president in the 2022 elections. However, Senator Go said he will not run if this means going against President Duterte for the position. Another potential running mate for the presidential daughter is ex-Defense Secretary Gibo Teodoro. Majority Leader Martin Romualdez, who had expressed intentions to run for VP in the past, Senator Sonny Angara, and ex-Senator Bongbong Marcos are also rumored to be pairing up with Duterte. Senators Ping Lacson and Tito Soto shared a teaser ahead of the formal launch of their 2022 run on September 8. Lacson and Soto are gunning for the presidency and vice presidency and were the first tandem to confirm their bids. Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. department has lowered the price cap of RT-PCR swab tests to a maximum of 2,800 pesos in public labs and 3,360 pesos in private labs, effective September 6. The agency also said that a maximum of 1,000 pesos may be added on top of the testing costs for home service. NTF COVID-19 Deputy Chief Implementer Carlito Galvez Jr. said they are considering to hold multiple voting days for the 2022 national elections. Galvez said they will be working on legislation with Congress and the COMELEC to extend voting days and have a so-called voting in phases scheme by region. And another para-athlete tested positive for COVID-19, pushing the count of infected 2020 Tokyo Paralympics delegates to 3. Para-taekwondo Jin Alin Ganapin will not be able to compete in the men's K44 to 75 kilograms division scheduled for Friday. And some exciting news for the whole family as Signal brings you 11 more awesome channels with free viewing starting this September until October 15. More blockbuster movies on Tap Movies, Tap Action Flicks, and Tagalized Movie Channel. More entertaining and trendy shows on Lotus Macau and Tap TV. More heart-pounding sports action on Premier Sports and Varsity Channel. And more fun learning for your kids at home on Moonbug Kids and DreamWorks. For more details, just visit Signal's website or Facebook page. And for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.